Joining me now from Ramallah in the West Bank is Hiba Tibi. She is the Care Country Director for West Bank and Gaza. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So hospitals in Gaza at breaking point with the constant Israeli bombardments and of course the lack of fuel, and that's also impacting humanitarian aid deliveries as we've been reporting. What is the latest on aid supplies to the territory? Because apparently nothing is getting in, but are there still some supplies there available?
So let me start from the supplies that are within Gaza. Unfortunately, even if we have the very, very scarce few supplies for hygiene practices, for medical supplies, we are unable to transport them even within the north because of lack of fuel. As you have just mentioned, the trucks of the UN agencies are unable also to deliver the very few humanitarian assistance that is entering. The total of what we have received since 21st of October is almost equaling the requirement of 2 days of traditionally available supplies. This is really becoming very, very harsh and dire. We have seen also bakeries that are closing down, and this is making it very difficult for people to access basic foods. And unfortunately, the same is reported from those who are leaving the north towards the south. They are now taking the journey by foot because there is no fuel to transport them from the north to the south. Unfortunately, the situation is very, very hard. We reached, unfortunately, to the moment where we have the last drop of fuel ending and finishing. And this is a very scary moment for us as humanitarian organizations.
And of course, at the root of this is that Israel is saying that it won't let fuel in because of concerns that Hamas will take it. And I mean, that has happened in instances, hasn't it? So talk to us about the impact of that, because presumably, as we've heard from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he will keep this fight, this war going to the very end. And part of that is not allowing that fuel in.
So this question is becoming very hard for us to answer. Now in 2023, in the north, let me start in the north, the situation is extremely difficult and scary. There is no food, no water, nothing left in the markets, nothing left for the civilians to access. Those who were already in the south were already fighting over resources that became very scarce. Now we have tens of thousands moving from the north towards the south, which was already underserved in terms of water, drinking water, hygiene purposes water, food, access to medical services and hospitals. We see hospitals one after the other declaring that they are running out of water, out of electricity, and unable to provide services for those who are in massive needs. Those who are not only the wounded, but in critical IC units, critical need for medical help, for babies in incubators. This is unfortunately the situation. It is becoming harder with the declaration of the UNRWA and the UN agencies that now the last hope for people to access food is becoming impossible with the inability to transfer the humanitarian assistance for people who are overcrowded in the shelters in the south.